So we're coming out of this sideways range, but we had already dropped like a rock all the way from all-time highs about a month ago, and we continue this very big drop this morning. So we come in this morning on a 34 range chart on crude oil, and what do we see? We had just finished a big drop, but we had this range above us, and then of course you can see we have our bullish channel. So we said, all right, we got crude dropping, dollar had been rising, right, which caused the crude to fall. When the dollars are worth more, you can get access to more things. When things are less scarce, when the dollar is worth more, we can get our access to more things, which means costs go down. When the dollar drops, things become more scarce. That's why crude rises in price, because anytime something becomes more scarce, right, prices go up. So ultimately here, the dollar had been rising all week, causing the crude to drop. Now remember, they came out with that great idea this morning, right? The New Deal for Greece. That caused the euro to jump, dollar tumbles, and of course that's what's now caused this crude to begin to rise. So we find ourselves below the range that we just finished from yesterday. We found ourselves below the previous highs, below the previous lows, and of course we have this bull channel. So my first thing here this morning is I said outside day. Very obviously an outside day. Now again, go to the blog, search for inside day, outside day. You can probably find a link right below the video. But what does an outside day tell me? An outside day tells me expect price to try to get inside. That's the first thing. So we thought, well, price will probably try to get inside because that's just a natural reaction when price goes higher or lower. It will try to retreat back up or retreat back down to that previous range. All right. And of course, it doesn't need to be this narrow range. It can be a real wide range too. We just happen to have a real narrow range from yesterday. So the first thing I think about here on an outside day, right, is the fact that we have the potential for price to rise back up. And we all know, you've probably heard me say this a million times before, if I can get above that previous low of day, that's electric, right? I want to buy and bring it all the way up to the previous highs. So my initial assumption was, I'll bet we get all the way back up in, go all the way to the previous highs, and then come resting on the open this morning. That was my initial, right, reading of what would likely happen today. It didn't happen though. What happened? What actually happened was we never actually broke above the previous low of day. And so we found ourselves chopping around here sideways, and then we ended up trending back down. And of course, crude came all the way down, broke below 92, and then of course popped back up. So once we saw that we didn't break through the previous low of day, we then said, you know what? Now here's the range. Once we saw price try and fail, of course, if you guys were with us this morning, we were very surprised we didn't get the previous low of day even tested. They didn't even touch it. Very, very concerning there, because that would assume now, if you're all the way up there, wouldn't you try to break through? I mean, wouldn't you try? They probably were trying. Not enough volume, not enough confidence with rising prices. So we're now going to sell those highs and bring it all the way back down, again, inside the range we're in. Now, we didn't think we were going to get that failure at those highs, but once we saw the failure at the previous low of day, which of course is the high here, we then were able to feel confident that this was now our range. If I saw price go through, I'm going to buy a pullback and take it all the way up. But when we saw the failure, that was the clue we needed. So the outside day never turned into an inside day, right? Inside day would have been above that previous low, so it never became an inside day. It was always an outside day. And then, of course, don't forget, this bull channel here gave us an easy sign. Now, what does a bull channel tell me to do again? Bull channel, what's the highest percentage traded in a bull channel? Buy the lows of the channel. But what if we break out of that channel? What if price was to do, I don't know, drop like this? Then what do? Buy support, right? Buy support with the goal of getting back up into that channel again. A lot of times we'll get shaken out of this channel, but guys, the best trades come buying that support below it. So we had a bull channel, and that bull channel tells us buy support. And that's exactly what we did. There's a level right here, 93.34. Now you can see here we had, of course, as price is rising, swing low right there, swing low right there. And so we marked up these two levels here, 92.86 and 93.34. 93.34 ended up being a very important level for us, Because like I said, if we're trending up and price breaks that trend, I want to buy and then get back up into that channel again. So that's where I was on the hunt this morning. Well, obviously we took whatever we wanted here, whatever the market gave us, but we knew if we happened to drop out of this channel, buying that support level, 93.34, 92.86, 93 even, big round numbers, so a little bit hairy around there, but we knew we wanted to buy support. Then, what else happened this morning? We got another big heads up. What was it? At this high, the previous low of day tested once, tested twice, and what do we call that? We call that a double top. Now, what else does double top tell us? Buy support. So now we had two signs, a bull channel, and then to try to test the previous low of day, it was a single top, then a double top. So we get two attempts to break the highs, right? Or to break the highs today. But more importantly, what does a double top tell me? We're probably going to try one more time, right? Double top, triple top, quadruple top. I'm going to sell the high of that double top and then buy at support with the goal of taking it right back up again. Those buyers they're going to rest a little bit, they're going to gather up some steam, and they're going to try one more time. So we want to sell the double top high, right? Once I see that second attempt and it fails, I sell it on the way down, and then I'm ready to buy at the next major support. And of course, by 10 o'clock this morning, the crude's going sideways. And if you recall, we knew we had 10 o'clock news, and by 10 o'clock this morning, we were well aware of this. We knew by 10:05, by 10:06, we might be dead in the water because it's OPEX, quadruple witching, and we knew once the professional traders saw that last news of the day, right, that, what was it, consumer sentiment we had this morning, 10 o'clock, 9:55, once that was out of the way, we knew there had to be some real good reason to keep trading. Then crude starts trending down, and once the crude started trending down, we then, of course, started trading inside that channel again. By 10:05, though, by 10:15, we're seeing the personality slow way down, and we knew at that point our time was limited for the rest of the day today. Now, we also took some trades on gold today. Remember what happened on gold? At 9:45, gold jumped. And when gold jumped up, I was tempted to buy at the highs, but I decided not to, and I started selling those highs. I'm going to show you guys that in a second as well. Very, very, very important today. We knew what time of day it was, because after 10:15, 10:30, we really started seeing things slow down. And remember, what am I looking for inside this bull channel? Buy support. If I can't buy, right, if I can't buy right here because of the BMT, if we break below that channel, what am I doing? I'm trying to buy. So my first trade of the day, 9:15, I want to buy that support. I take a two-step pattern long, I buy the 93.34 support, 55 is my entry, and I get my 20 ticks. Now remember, I have all the details for all of these trades are posted right below the video. Click on that link, open up that snapshot of the trades, and you can see how I took profit, entries, and the reasons behind it. So at 9:15, two-step pattern long, we know why I took that one. Bull channel, buy support. What else do we have? Double top. Can't forget about that, right? That double top right there also said buy support. So we had two big flags here. Double top says buy support. Now look what happened. We made new lower lows. Now when I made a new lower low here, as I always say, I'm selling retracements. Now we called this early this morning. We talked about the fact that I would rather buy at support. That's the high percentage trade. Okay, look back at my notes. They're posted right below this video, and you can see at 8 o'clock this morning, we said in big bold letters, the high percentage trade will be what? Buying at support. So we knew going into this trade short, it was going to be a little bit higher risk. Now I didn't have this trend line below me when I started this trade, but this is a wave pattern short. So here we go. 9:40 a.m., just after the US Open, we're sitting here chopping around. Not just chopping around, we're in the middle of the range, slow, sluggish, and if you asked me at 9:35 if we'd see this on gold, I would have said, there's not a chance. But you know what though? I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, and being a trader, you have to be comfortable with being wrong. Now this was pretty easy. We break right through the previous high of day. Once we get to the previous high of day, who's in charge? Buyers. And there's got to be a good reason to push that previous high. That means something must have changed out there. Something out in the personality on gold, whether it was Obama speaking, Trichet speaking, a news event comes out, someone sneezes the wrong way, whatever it is. And again, as day traders, we oftentimes don't know why, and we really don't care, but once we break above the previous highs, we know the buyers are in charge. So buyers are in charge here above the previous highs, and they keep going. Now, of course, if I would have known about this move before I obviously reacted to it afterwards, I wasn't even watching for it. It literally came out of nowhere. You could have easily bought a pullback here. This would have been the only trade there buying that would have been the higher percentage. Buying a pullback right there above the previous highs, if you took that, great job. But I wasn't watching that time. By the time I saw it, I was all the way up above that 1538. And so here was where that pullback, right? I could have bought a pullback there, and you can see, would have made you money, but instead I decided to wait and follow my plan. Now, there were actually two entries here. The first one, once you get above 38s, swing low, that's actually a two-step short. But what I did was I sold it once it broke below the trigger line. Once it broke below the trigger line, I got my +5, my +10, and then price went right back up again. So you can see I probably could have made some money on buying that pullback, but again, very difficult to feel confident end of the week, end of the quarter, obviously OPEX, quarterly witching, and of course on Friday afternoon or Friday morning. So we're at the highs here on the gold. I'm not going to buy through the highs. I decided to sell the highs. And the key was I waited to see what was happening. Momentum curled over. We broke through that trigger line. I'm thinking now we're going all the way back down. Didn't get it though. 950. My 21 ticks here. That's a wave failure, right? It's a wave failure pattern. You could also call it a two-step short.